started out as a tribute to record breaker David O'Leary. It'll possibly finish up before a tribunal. All very jolly at this stage, the smiles before the snarls, the fireworks to come. Arsenal went behind to one of their own tricks of the trade, falling hook, line and sinker to the near post corner routine. Transfer listed Malcolm Allen, the scorer. Now this was the incident that really ignited the blue touch paper. Allen elbowed O'Leary on the start of that twisting run. O'Leary taking Allen for walkies. It's starting to get a bit nasty now. O'Leary then explaining to referee George Tyson, yes, George, his version of what happened a second or two earlier. Rubbing salt into the wound, David Phillips free kick. Dale Gordon makes the decoy run, and Phillips sends it straight through Lukic. 2-0 Norwich. And things not going according to plan at all for George Graham. Just check the blueprint there, Ken. That's what I tell them to do, you know. Hey, yeah. Well, Arsenal had only conceded 1 goal prior to this at Highbury, but they hit back with big Niall Quinn's first of the season after 55 minutes. Gunn, who'd made some good saves, teeing it up for the big fella. 2-1. Well, then came the first of 2 penalties. Now, the first, I reckon, much harsher than the second, but we'll take each pen as it comes. That was for handball. Now, let's have a look at the replay. The offender there is Andy Linnigan. Now, his view appears to be totally obscured by Ian Culverhouse, but the referee saw it as being intentional. Ryan Gunn in goal. Made some good saves, and Lee Dixon had never even taken a penalty before that. You'd never have guessed, would you? 2-2. Arsenal then went behind again to a real sucker punch. Dale Gordon's corner. Linnigan's header. Lukic going down like a giant redwood. Reacting quickly, Sherwood. Brent O'Leary, it really was his day. If you're ever in a jam, here I am. His first goal for 6 years on his 622nd appearance. Winterburn's free kick. The power of the header from O'Leary deceiving Gunn. It was another stirring episode in the Norwich home and away saga, with the climax still to come. Another penalty, 2 falls or a submission. Butterworth, the martial arts man. Thomas, the man grounded, he seemed to enjoy it. Now, the more I see this, I'm not too sure. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You'll have to judge for yourselves. But the referee saw it as a penalty, and another opportunity for Lee Dixon. This time it was saved by Gunn, and somehow Dixon managed to scramble it over the line. But then came the aggro, of which we have not heard the last.
Moves like this have brought Liverpool so many goals. The surprise is when it doesn't work. John Barnes couldn't believe it either. Nor when this sparkling Barnes, Ablett and Beardsley combination also ended in naught. But Greg Downs' curling left foot in the 47th minute found Cyril Regis equally surprisingly all alone. That was his first of the season, 50th for Coventry, and the Anfield hoodoo was finally broken.
John Sheridan finally getting a First Division game at the City Ground for his new club Sheffield Wednesday against his old one, Nottingham Forest. Looked to be a formality for Forest, 7 without defeat against a Wednesday side without so much as a goal away from home. Nigel Clough's shot just skimming the post. Now, Wednesday's first away win was set up by Alan Harper's cross that created mayhem in the Forest defence, and certainly not helped by an injury to Steve Sutton, the goalkeeper. Dalian Atkinson almost got his 3rd of the season. Forest looked to have escaped when a Terry Wilson rocket turned out to be a dud. 1-0 Wednesday, and the last laugh to John Sheridan.
Well, if that was a shock, so too 2 goals in 2 minutes for Charlton, and both from corners. After the goalmouth pinball machine effect, it was set up by Mortimer and touched home by Paul Williams. Manchester United's erratic form continued when they failed to clear another corner. The ball hit the underside of the bar before Williams' outstretched leg brought only Charlton's third win of the season.
Manchester City, with only 1 point from their previous 3 games, encouraged to play it about, probably by the reputation of the Palace defence. There's always goals about when Palace are about. Ian Bishop's lovely little ball there. Clive Allen off target for once. Now, around about this point, we took a time-out, but David White didn't. Manchester City 1, Crystal Palace 0. Trevor Morley, the ultimate hero of last season, he scored the goal that got them up, you might remember, put them 2 in front just before half-time. Palace clearly heading for their 5th away defeat of the season. Steve Coppell's on the lookout for a new goalkeeper. You've got to say that Perry Suckling's not doing much to convince him otherwise. Clive Allen's 3rd in 3 games, and more typical than last week's against Chelsea.
Well, now I promise you, here's a goal to sit back and savour. Thomas and Mabbott, the organisers, Paul Gascoigne, the executor, skill in abundance. Who says that Tottenham don't travel well? But Southampton haven't climbed to 5th place without good cause, and when Spurs' defence lost their way, the ball fell on the volley to Glenn Cockrell, and he snatched a point.
Wimbledon and Queen's Park Rangers produced 3 shots between them, the headlines and most of the copy being provided by one acrimonious incident. Now, you might just get away with this sort of thing in American football, but not in these parts, not even at Plough Lane. Terry Gibson had to go for sacking Andy Sinton.
Luton's plastic pitch continues to get the better of most visitors. Derby County, the latest victims. Ian Dowie's first league goal, enough to give Luton all 3 points. That's a rarity these days, and keep Arthur Cox's side in deep trouble.
Well, the one match we're unable to show you, the one that put Chelsea on top yesterday.